This is too funny. Sorry about that. There's an interruption because this camera, I just got back from the camera shop. I think it was last week, a week ago today, actually. And or a week ago yesterday. I don't remember. I can't remember. Anyway, one battery was apparently almost dead. The other battery, I thought I had, I did plug it in last night, but it obviously didn't charge. It was at 45% when I started this video, and then it just died. So in my back pocket, I've had one of those fake batteries. It's an actual fake battery that you plug into the wall. You put it in the camera and then you plug it into the wall, and that is what is powering this right now. And I haven't used it yet, and I've had it for months and months. So I got to use it tonight. So there's another example of like having a backup to your backup. If you're gonna start YouTube, have backups for everything. Have multiple SD cards. I like to have multiple cameras because I have this camera. This is the main one. Then I have my Osmo, my little DJI Osmo that I used for about a month while this was being fixed. And then the backup to the backup is the phone, of course. And then even more of a backup could be me going live. So, which I'll do that sometime too. So I got backups to backups. So there is no excuse for us to not start some YouTube or start showing up for ourselves, because this is just another example of, being resourceful. So, and I learned about this because I was going to stream with this camera on my laptop someday. So now I know that this works. So this is awesome. This is my first time trying it. I get too excited about the littlest things. So I'm like so excited right now. I was like, I wonder if this is going to work. And it did. So I'm back. I don't remember what I was talking about, and I apologize, but I know it was partly showing up for yourself. So just remember that you deserve everything. You deserve the best, and you've got to show up for yourself no matter what. And I have heard a lot of excuses from people. I'll call them excuses because I want to call people out on that, because I always call myself out too. We give ourselves too much of a break sometimes. I think we do need to give ourselves breaks, of course, and give ourselves grace. But at some point, we've got to say, I'm going to design my life in this certain way that I want it to be. And I've got to move forward. I've got to change from the old self to the new self. And I've got to get over the habit of being my old self, as Joe Dispenza says. Get over the habit of being yourself. And when that really sinks in, we realize that, oh, wow, I can change into a new person. I just have to figure out what it is that I want to design my life to look like. And so I have definitely done that over the years without knowing that I was doing that in certain areas. But it was pretty cool when I finally figured out that, wow, my thoughts and beliefs and everything were working against me a lot of the time. But now they're working for me when I do things consciously. So we've got to be very conscious of what we're thinking, feeling, believing, all of the above. And so I wanted to read an email from Abraham Hicks. It was today. Seems like every day now I'm getting really good ones. So this one is, when you play the what if game, look for things that make you feel better. There is never a situation in which there is not a way out. But out of habit, most people continue to choose the lack perspective until they eventually find themselves where it seems that there are no more choices. But as you hold to your intention to look for evidence of well-being and thriving and success and happiness, you will tune yourself to the vibrations of those things. And so those kinds of good feeling experiences will dominate your life. I like the word dominate. We've got to dominate our life with positive thinking instead of the negative thinking. I don't even like to use the word positive and negative anymore. It's just kind of like, what do I prefer to feel? Like, what do I want to feel? Do I want to feel good or do I want to feel bad? It's very simple. And so I like the what if game. What if this could work out? What if this could be better than I ever thought it could be? What if I can actually design my life? What if I can restructure my brain? What if I could program my brain to think anything I want it to think? What if I could feel good all the time, most of the time? We're human. We're not going to feel good like 100% of the time, But we're going to have this underlying feeling of, yeah, I've got control of this. Like I can make decisions and actually create the life that I desire, instead of the life that I feel like I've been given. So we have to remember life is happening through us, not to us, because if it's happening to us, we have no power. And so what I love to do is empower people. Everything I say on this channel, since it's my channel, I channel everything, first of all, on my channel. So it comes through me and my experiences that I've had. My experiences are not like ironclad for everybody. Everything that I share is just for people to maybe make them think a little bit, make them possibly make a change where they didn't think or see that they could make a change before. It's almost to open people's minds up to different ways of thinking, I guess you could say, and start seeing yourself differently. And I want everybody to experiment with these things and to become your own evidence. Never listen to just one person. That is something that I've learned over the years, because I would listen to one person and then I'd hear something the opposite coming from another person and I'd be really confused. So what I've done all these years is I take everybody that I've studied and learned from, and I just take the things that resonate most with me and I put them into my own unique way of thinking. And sometimes some people might like it, sometimes people might not. And whatever you resonate with the most is what you're going to actually feel most attracted to, which means it's going to work best for you. So I had a client today that said they cannot meditate. They have a really hard time meditating. And I hear that from a lot of people. And we have to remember that it is a practice. There's no time frame on it. I could go into a whole video on that, which I won't do here, but she really enjoyed listening to this certain type of music, and that made her feel really good and like connected to her own mind more. So I said, do that. And then here's another thing you can do is in every situation you're in, ask yourself, how do I prefer to feel? Like, keep it very, very simple. How do I prefer to feel right now? If I'm not feeling so good, or you ask yourself first, how do I feel? And then if I am feeling in a way that I don't prefer to feel, how do I prefer to feel? What would that be? Do I feel good or do I feel not so good? Keep it very simple. And because there's two ends of the stick, as Esther Hicks says, there's two ends of the stick. There's polarity. Nothing has meaning until we give it meaning. So could I give this thing a different meaning than I'm giving it that might serve me more instead of hurting me in a way that I've always been hurting myself? Maybe this is the old self that we're talking about coming out, and it's like, no, you've always made this mean this, so you've got to keep doing that. And that's so not true. So we have to just play. I like to play with this too. I like to really play and enjoy this stuff, where I love Neville Goddard, and I love I've always loved the magic of the mind. And when I was younger, I really loved like fairy tales and spells. Of course, this channel is called Life Spells, which it came to me 10 years ago. And 9 years later, I'm creating, a channel called Life Spells. I had no idea what it was going to be when I created it, but it just came to me one day. And so I just love the idea of magic, and we call it magic, but it's just how they say reality works. And so we can believe or not believe, but I encourage everybody to just open your mind and relax and just say to yourself, hey, I'm going to stay curious about what could exist out there for me. What possibilities could exist that I might not even be seeing right now, because they say, you cannot see what you're not the vibration of. We're literally blind to things unless we change our identity to be able to actually view whatever's going on over here. If we're over here on the left, we can't see what's going on over here on the right. So it's like tuning your radio station from 92.1 to 104.5, like I've said so many times. 92.1 is self number one, and 104.5 is self number two. We know that both selves exist, but we can only tune into one at a time. So which one are we going to tune into? And we have to do that with intention and deliberately, because that old brain is going to come up and it's going to take you right back. I've been there so many times, and you just have to get to this point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And you're like, man, I just want to feel good. I deserve to feel good. I want my life to feel good. And no matter what happens, I'm going to feel good. And there are certain times that I will feel, and I'm sure you guys can attest to this too, you'll just feel your mood going down, your energy going down. Like maybe someone triggered that in you, or I don't know, it might be Monday and maybe you don't like Monday. So then At a certain time on Monday, you're like, ugh, and your energy just drops. That is the work right there where you say, nope, this is that self one. I got to go over here to self two. So what would self two be thinking right now? Like, what would I rather feel and think right now in this moment? And you just talk to yourself. I tell everybody to talk to themselves. Like, you don't have to do it out loud. You can do it in your mind, whatever you want to do. I just love that we can go inside our minds and create anything we want. I really love that. It's, to me, it feels more powerful than anything, because I'll just deny what's going on and I'll be like, no, I'm going to go in my mind now. And I'm trusting myself more and more and more every single day that does work. And it's just amazing what happens when you're at peace, what starts to unfold around you instead of what's always kind of been there that's kind of maybe brought you down. So I think that, all these mental disorders, what we call them, are they're labels. I don't like labels. I don't like saying, well, that's my anxiety that came out. And I don't like that. I think it disempowers us to put a label on us. So that's a whole other video. And that's going against in a way what I was taught in school. We got to learn about disorders, and we've got to plug in a label for a person so the insurance company will pay. There's a lot of thoughts on that. So I just like to say, hey, I'm experiencing some nervousness, and I experienced it so much that I trained my mind into disorder. So let's get back in order. And so if you just tell yourself every day, I have the power to put myself back in order. I can do this. Just tell yourself that I can do this. I can train my mind to think in the way that I want it to think, because it doesn't know what's true or false. So you could say, I'm the queen or king, of my whole life, which you are anyway. But just program what you want to think. And it just takes some practice. And of course, if you're experiencing something, if you're in crisis, or, you've been diagnosed with something severe, just everybody take what I say with a grain of salt, because there is a reason for therapists, of course. There's people that I would not personally, at certain times in their treatment, maybe want them to watch these videos. It might confuse them more. So there's certain people that need certain types of treatments, certain modalities that work best for them. Some people might need crystals versus watching videos like this. Some people might just need a book, and that's it. Some people might just need a video every week, and that's it for them. Like, everybody's so different. And so, but we have to be careful about just listening to one person or trying one thing. I just think it's important to try multiple things to see what works best for us as a human, because we're so different. And so, but I don't like labels very much. So I hear a lot of labeling. I've labeled myself in the past, of course, but I want to keep it simple, to where we start with simple emotional regulation. How do I want to feel? How do I feel? Like, awareness of how we're feeling. And then, how do I want to feel? And then as you start to practice that, you're going to start to feel better and better and better. And I'm rambling, and I'm going to go ahead and end this video. I can tell I'm rambling. I'm going to keep going and going and going, going and going and going. Someday I'll go for longer, but I'm going to end this tonight. The sun has gone down, so I can tell it's getting darker. It's getting later. So thank you guys so much for listening to me ramble and rant every day for all these days, 288 days. It's amazing. And I thank you so much. Again, I appreciate all of you so, so much. And remember, you're so loved. And pass that on to somebody who needs to hear it. And remember to appreciate yourself, because what you appreciate appreciates. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.